The forest did not recognize her. It did not care who she had been. No palace walls, no royal rhythm, only repetition. She woke before dawn, gathered water, prepared food, served quietly. Her husband, Satyavan, moved through life without weight. He spoke freely, worked steadily, laughed without hesitation, because he did not know. She did. And that changed everything. She watched him closely, not with fear, not with desperation, but with awareness. Every gesture mattered, every word stayed. Days passed, then months. She did not mark them aloud, but she counted, silently. Each sunrise, one less. Each night, one step closer. Nothing in the forest reflected it. The trees stood still. The sky did not change. But inside, time moved differently. Not slowly, not quickly, but precisely. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishthatya karmakrit. Karyate hyavashah karma sarvah. Prakriti jair gunai. Translation: no one can remain even for a moment without action. Everyone is driven helplessly to act by the qualities born of nature. She did not resist this movement. She did not attempt to escape it. She aligned with it, lived within it, served within it, waited within it. Not because she was powerless, but because she had chosen not to step away. That was the difference. The forest did not bind her, her decision did. And the day she had been counting toward was no longer approaching. It had almost arrived. One morning, she went down to the river early, submerged herself in its cold water, and took a ritual bath. Her father, King Ashwapati, had told her that he had performed devotion to the sun to obtain her as a daughter. So, she invoked the sun's life-giving blessings in her heart. Not out of habit, but an inner certainty grounded in faith. This was the day. There was no announcement, no signal, but she knew. She did not panic. She needed to be strong for her Swami, determined for her Swami, rooted in dharma, unshakable in her faith and Stri dharma. She did not share her thoughts with anyone, but she was resolute and calm. She emerged from the river and sat on its bank and prayed to Lord Shiva and offered Jal Abhishek to the Shivling. She then began a fast and returned to Satyavan, ready to face the day. She stayed near him, watched him prepare, watched him move as always, unaware. He picked up his axe, stepped toward the forest. She followed. He turned, questioned it lightly. She did not explain, just stayed beside him. They walked deeper. The air was still, too still. He began cutting wood, routine, movement. Then, it stopped. His hands slowed. His breath changed. He pressed his head. Pain, sudden, unavoidable. He staggered, dropped the axe, collapsed. She moved instantly, held him, lifted his head into her lap. His voice weakened, then faded. The body remained, but something had already shifted. Something had already left. Satu murdni mahad dukkham prapya, bhumau nipatitaha, shirasa sabhyavaptat, savitrya upalakshitaha. Translation: overcome by great pain in his head, he fell upon the ground. His head dropped, and Savitri caught him as he fell. She did not cry, did not panic, did not call out, because she had already reached this moment, long before it arrived.